with the people of the market, and there's new construction going on. What they've agreed to do is to do differentiation of what is sold at the stalls, so that you don't have the same product in the market being sold outside the store. And I'll be very happy to furnish you with the public participation report there. I understand, I know you went there, I know the issues between, I know the chair of that market and the MCA and whatnot, but they'd actually done that participation, because I looked into it. I really, just like every other ward, it's a ward very close to my heart, and I've looked into it. Pragmatically, we don't have enough trading spaces for all our people, even with the new construction which is going on right now. If you go to see, that will even not be enough. So long as there's differentiation, because you don't want people selling outside the market what is inside the market. None will go inside the market, and so you'll kill your own market where you're putting money to. So work with me to make sure that we do that differentiation properly. So I'll be happy to see the report. If you are telling me that the traders inside agreed to that, I'll be happy to see that report. Okay. Well, we will share that.
Yeah, I think Nairobi is a complex organization. You are thinking about hawkers, you're thinking about markets, you're thinking about green bonds, you're thinking about BRT, no matter water. So you went for the job, you left us here in Parliament. We will put you under pressure to perform.
I work best like that. And Chair, I think the Senator of Nairobi is correct, and yourself. A lot of the things, you've asked which of these projects will you do, which ones can you do. When we go together to a house in Ngando that has never received water, and you open the tap, that is audit. If we go together to better than the documents, if we go out there to see what this revenue we're raising and that we've increased is doing on the ground. So I'm very happy and open to that. When you go to Pumwani and see the first ICU there, Mama Lucy, see the NICU at Mbagathi, see what is happening in Mutwini, where for the first time people are being referred from private facilities to a public facility because of the machinery. And one of the questions actually Senator Sifuna, when visited us with the health committee, said there's no X-ray. And I put that CEO to task, because what he had been telling you possibly was not reflective. Today, go there. It is amazing. So oversight builds institutions. And I am a believer in oversight. I've been a senator longer than I've been a governor. So Chair, I'm very open to that. I think finally, on the questions that had been...
that's a final response, then we go to the report.
Finally, on the questions that have been asked, 2021, which is when NMS just took over, was 10. 21-22 was 8.9. Then when we came, 10.5 billion, which was the second highest in the history of devolution in Nairobi, because the other higher one was 2015-16, when you did regularization, was 10.5, and the last one is 12.8 billion, which in the last few days, we were targeting 13 billion, but the last few days, you remember, that was June, and you know what was happening towards the end of June. With a lot of the protests within the city, we had a sharp decline in our revenue collection due to the protests at that time. The potential of Nairobi is extremely high. And I'll give you an example. And I need your help as a Senate.
What's the figure for the potential?
For 67 billion. Yeah, that is according to World Bank, to the CRA. We talk about 67. I think
so this is just about 25% of that potential.
And I think it is much higher. The target we put, for instance, annually is our own target. When you say we want to do 20 billion, we believe that with measures and everything held constant, we can get to 20 billion. And I'll give you an example without specifying the current transaction. It might jeopardize it. One of the regularizations we're currently doing in Nairobi, part of Eastlands, just one scheme with 20,000 settlers is going to give us 7 billion at a go in the next few days if we conclude. Right now they're conducting an aerial survey. People had settled in. It was privately owned. They've built buildings without approvals of the county government. We've said for each and every approved subdivision, because we have to approve the subdivision.
So that's a windfall, because you won't get it in the subsequent year.
Yeah, but that's what happened in 15-16. So that's a windfall, and that's one scheme. We've not looked at, there's so many schemes. There's Kiamu Dandora, there's Embakasi Ranching, there's the whole of pipeline. And so currently, we have two options. We have the regularization bill in the County Assembly of Nairobi, but we also have PLUPA, the Physical Land Use Planning Act, on which we can do that regularization of unauthorized developments. That alone can give us extra from the 12.8 billion, another extra 20-30 billion, you know. Support we need from you. The biggest revenue stream in any city is property taxes, yeah, globally. Even in Nairobi, it's land rates. I'm happy with my team that we were able first to move to a recent valuation rule. Every other part of the country is stuck in 1980s valuation rule. We are at 2019 valuation rule, but it's 0.015% of the value, which is okay, because you don't want to shock people with 3 times or 4 times what they've been paying. Meaning, even for those who what they need to pay today is more than twice, they can only pay twice. If it's more than 100% of what you're paying, we've allowed them to pay in installments. So you can pay monthly for 10 months, leaving 2 months for enforcement action by us. But here's a challenge, Chair. 2 things. One, in our records, we have 175,000 parcels with attributes. This means it's 175,000 billable properties. And we have around 50,000 accounts on Nairobi Pay. The 50,000 accounts do not cover the 175,000 parcels. The Ministry of Lands has 255,000 parcels in their records for Nairobi with attributes. We have been working to get this data, but it's been almost elusive to get it. Because what we want is to be able to know who to bill and then who to enforce on. If we just do that fast, even with the current rate, we do that fast with the current rates, then what we get from property taxes is going to more than double, because you're talking about 50,000 accounts. Very few people have more than one parcel, you know.
Chair, just so that we help the governor. Governor, the CS of Lands has been so far very cooperative on matters that we have raised, especially affecting land grabbing in Nairobi, starting with Tomboya Social Hall and the others. So that is something we can do for you as a Senate. Bring that request through your senator. We will be able to get that information for you.
Thank you, Senator. Governor, I think we need to stop there and come back to this report, because even some of those figures have a bearing on the receiver of revenue. In fact, I was just looking at the top page of this report, where the Auditor General talks of your collection of 450 million from property rent. I think it's quite inverted. Ideally, property rent, as you said, in a city should be higher than land rates. That's what you're saying.
No, when I say property taxes, I mean land rates. Property rent is our houses. So those who are in Kanzo flats, in Eastlands, in Woodley, that is what we call it.
That's a 450 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's come back to the systems environment. For avoidance of doubt, and Governor, as you said that the ongoing audit, you are afraid that the past transgressions